What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with the final, at least for a while, Waaktaar Wednesday, which is to say we're up to the final tune on Waaktaar and Zoe's World of Trouble album, 2017. Thank you again to Sophia, as well as to Graham, who was one of the main suppliers of Waaktaar Wednesdays for the Savoy material, and who, like the most recent AHA video reaction I did, I saw you. And yes, ultimately we are up to the tune The Sequoia Has Fallen. Sequoias are I think it's like a family in a phylogenetic sense of trees, sometimes called redwoods. They tend to be very big, especially I think it's like Sequoia giganteum or something like that, which is like the real giant redwoods. I feel like they're almost exclusively in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Ultimately, they are big, old, and massive trees, so a sequoia falling is not only a significant event in the ecosystem of a forest, but could relate to the longevity of the tree, and thus its falling is the end of a very long life cycle. And of course, all of that could be very significant in a figurative or metaphorical sense. The idea of a strong, deeply rooted tree, organism, relationship, finally falling to its death and not growing anymore, not providing shade or cover as large trees do. So yes, there's any number of metaphors just waiting for emotional significance here, but it sounds like the end of some long duration process or lifespan, and in that regard, I suppose there's a bit of melancholy built into the title. I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Waaktaar and Zoe. The track is The Sequoia Has Fallen, and it's the final tune on their 2017 album, World of Trouble. Sorry, I'm not sure that I had it queued up here, which I do not think I did. Okay. mechanical transmission layer earlier. So, okay, number one, I think there's a really good blend of keyboard and guitar sonics here. I will note the distortion. I feel like there was some distorted guitar work in this one that really stood out and gave it a bit of an edge. And I think Zoe sounds good once again, a couple moments vocally in particular. But I was really keyed into the lyrics, and though I don't claim to know exactly what's happening here, it does feel like there's a, let's say, more socio-political bent to this one, and the idea that, if you're out on the street and you hear the sound of marching feet, you might think there's like a resistance movement, talking about the resistance being underground and so on, but then it sounds like, oh, actually, no, it's just kind of this more or less empty pop music that is, sort of tranquilizing in a way, and while that's happening, and while there's no real movement or what's the right word, like counterculture, the politicians will continue to get their fill and take what they will and steal what they will, and that's just kind of how the story goes. And they're up on a hill, and those of us down here, we might try to do something and so on, but by and large a lot of what's out there is sort of mind-numbing, and it's not pointed, or it's not leading to some new perspective or understanding. There's art that's out there that isn't really doing anything of substance with its art. So I don't know if I'm hearing all that correctly, but again, it does seem like there's almost this fatalism or sort of annoyed acceptance that these large-scale forces and these corrupt or exploitative politicians, they kind of do what they do, and the idea of like there's something special happening here, there's a movement happening here. Now, that's the Sequoia, it's fallen, and she's not even sure that she can hear the sound of footsteps in the street anymore. And thus, there's a sense that whatever life a different possibility had, whatever life a alternative approach to artistic endeavor and what that might facilitate culturally and socially, it's dead, it's fallen, it's not growing anymore. So it feels there's a bit of melancholy here, which I suppose again was built into the title. Now again, I might be missing the overall essence of the lyrics, or at least not catching some of the detailed nuances, but that's what my brain took it as, an idea that there could have been something of substance, maybe there was something of substance, but by and large, a general apathy or a desire for less significant artistic endeavor that's, just again more tranquilizing. It won out in the end, and therefore the powerful and exploitative forces and politicians who are at the head of that, they're just going to get to do what they've always done. This story isn't new, and if there was a suggestion that maybe something different was growing, it's no more. So yeah, look forward to hearing other people comment. I think it's a great album closing tune. There is this sense of finality to the lyrics, but even sonically, the way it sort of went from that lush, again, blend of like keyboard / electronic sounds with great guitar work into that almost like, end of an electronic or digital signal and end of broadcast sort of sound. I think that's a clever way to end the record. So yes, I very much enjoyed this. I think I took some of the sonics along the way to be more Savoy-like than other people did, which of course, that's just my impression on a first listen, and maybe because I know Paul's writing these songs lyrically and vocally, I'm perhaps slightly more inclined to hear at least some of them in a vein that's not terribly different from Savoy, though I freely concede that it's not like it was just another Savoy record. It definitely had elements and, of course, a vocal aspect that set it apart from that. So either way, I enjoy Paul's songwriting and his song composition, so I hope there's more Waaktaar Wednesdays in the future. Either way, shout out to him, shout out to Zoe, shout out to, again, Sophia and Graham and all manner of folks who've been following these reactions who are part of the larger AHA family. So yes, a cool end to a good album. Do let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.